On today's episode of the Holo Chronicles podcast, Josh and I are recapping our entire Star Wars Celebration experience, all 4 days, recapping our panel experience, our purchases, and all the pals that we ran into while we were there. Josh, hit it! I'm still coming off of a celebration high, Josh. How about you?
Dude,
What did we just do, man? I can't even.
might be a celebration hangover, but
When people ask me, what'd you do this weekend? Because they know I left, I don't even really know how to tell them. I went to a Star Wars convention, but that seems like it's way understating it.
yeah, I agree. I had so much fun, such a cool experience. We're gonna go through it. There's like, I don't know if there's words, and I think those of you that experienced it would probably agree, especially coming off of a long hiatus.
Yeah,
of meeting with your best Star Wars buddies, and a long hiatus, which came after a strong dive by a lot of people into the podcasting world, the content creating world, YouTube, really diving into what we love, which is Star Wars. And so, I mean, we had this weird effect, right? We had this mass influx of people putting content out, putting their face on the screen, like you and I. I mean, we were a little before what happened, but we weren't in as deep as when it did.
Mm-mm.
And then all these people come through and we got to meet them. We got a lot of them, talk to them.
Yep.
So fantastic.
Star Wars Celebration 2022 is over, in the books. Josh and I got to attend our very first Star Wars Celebration. And the one thing that I can say, and one thing I've shared with people, is that I don't know how my experience could have been any better than what we were able to do, what we were able to buy, what we were able to see, who we were able to see. Yeah, I mean, it was. I don't know how it could have gone any better. We did our day one recap from the hotel, which was, looking back, kind of a miracle that we were able to do it, because the bandwidth was bad.
After that, I think after day one, I think more people came into the area, and even we were trying to hotspot from my phone. But what happens, you get so many people on one cell tower. Think about that. Even if there's 5 cell towers around that area, it's just loaded. We couldn't get anything out there. I couldn't download a picture in less than 5 minutes. I was like, I don't know how we're streaming. Yeah. So sorry about that. We had big plans.
We had intentions.
I hauled a bunch of gear.
We had intentions, and the best laid plans of mice and men, so to speak. Speaking of, we did the first day recap, so I don't know how much do you want to rehash day one at all, or do you want to direct them to?
Well, I think what I would rather do
is like a 25-minute video.
I'd rather stay. Yeah, we have a video that we'll put up for everyone. We put up did we put that up full public, or we had our day one recap that went everywhere. We had a few recaps that we sent to, not recaps, but kind of just leading into
check-ins,
that for our Patreons. But I think we keep it with the theme and the title of the pod, which is panels, purchases, and pals. So we can still go over some of the panels, but maybe not in as much detail. And I have pictures for those if you want to take it in. Andy was a busy dad tonight, so he rolled from the truck to the podcasting seat. So here we are.
Yeah, definitely. What do you want to talk about first?
What I would say, Andy, if we wanted to start this off. Okay. We talked about how excited we were. We talked about all the, a quick overview of kind of the things that just made us happy. And I can't even remember what those were.
There were so many.
We just did it in like 30 seconds just now, and it wasn't even close. So what I would say is, like, if you were to take the entire experience and put it into a couple words, what would it be?
It surpassed expectations.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Like beyond, right?
Way beyond. All
right. I would say for and I said this in the little 30-minute recap we did, I would say from a Star Wars perspective, life-changing. Like it really was.
Yeah.
It really was.
It was just the atmosphere was really fun. Even if you were standing or sitting next to somebody you didn't know, you knew you had something in common with them.
Yeah.
I mean, there was like, I don't know how many people officially attended the weekend,
Yeah, I
but
don't either.
we'll say 30,000,
That might be high.
maybe 20,000. We'll say 20,000
Felt like a million
at times.
voices.
It's
Crying out
at once. But you had something in common with 20,000 people, automatic. And it's not just like a coincidental thing. It's like a deep love. Nobody there is a casual fan.
I think we'd be remiss if we didn't just give a quick update on how you and I arrived. I mean, the day one was really, and I don't even think we talked about this in our other recap, but let me fire this off really fast. I'm going to go rapid fire without a ton of detail. And then you add your parts too. So I fly in on Wednesday. I get into this cab. I posted this to our Patreons. It was hilarious. I'm driving with my driver. His name's Sergio. Sergio's like, "Are you here for the convention?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm here for the convention." "Oh yeah, Star Wars." He's telling me stories. A little broken English. It was hard to understand him, but the enthusiasm and the joy. And he goes, "I picked up this guy. He was huge. He was so big." And I pick him up, and I'm like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "I'm here for Star Wars." And he's like, "Who are you?" And it turns out it was Jonas. So I made a video that we gave to our Patreon. There's Jonas sitting right in the seat. He's like, "It was Chewbacca," and he like, he does the growl and everything. And I was like, "Oh man!" I sent that to Andy. I'm like, well, "We're off to a great start already." And that was just the cab ride to the hotel. So we get into the hotel, and first things first, I meet our great friend and patron, Gary Moore.
Yeah.
And was his daughter with him at the time? I don't know if his daughter was with him yet, but meet him. Dude's super tall. So maybe Sergio was talking about Gary. He might have given Gary a ride to Celebration, but obviously Gary, so great to meet you and your beautiful daughter. You guys had spent some time in Disneyland, and so it was just off to this like really cool start, coordinating. And then Andy, you come in around the 11 o'clock p.m. mark
on Wednesday night. There were people in the bar, ran into people that we knew or that I knew right away in the bar. And one of the cool things, we'll get to this, but we got to meet the Belgian prop crew that night.
Yeah.
Three of the 13 guys that are a part of that. And they're just the nicest guys. So shout out to Andy and Chris and the guy who had the interesting name that I can't remember.
It was something
that was like Brazilian and Norwegian.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was all over the place.
It was great.
But that was just like one encounter of many encounters with people that was super cool to meet, and I cherish those moments. I know you do too, Josh. Josh, you got to sit in on the Lucasfilm panel.
Yeah,
on
so
day one.
Just to fire this up right away, day one we went right into a panel. And the funny part is that I was so jazzed. Andy was there. Gary was with us at the time. And we were walking in. We walked into the main hall E and kind of going through normal check-in. But I happened to pick up a Jedi pass from a very good friend of ours and was like, I don't know what, I said, I want to go with you guys. I want to hit the floor. I want to hit the floor with you. I want to experience this with you. And I think it was Gary. It was like, I'll do my best Texan English accent or whatever. He's like, "Get your ass in that, mate. What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, okay. All right. See ya." Like, "Oh, my arm." And so I went into the Lucas showcase, which is kind of really just the hype up. Let's get going.
Yeah.
And
here's what's coming.
Dear God. So like right off the bat, as you can see on your screen, we get Ewan and Hayden, and the crowd goes wild for like a long time. That's Ewan and Hayden up there for 5 minutes is what you're seeing right there, of a standing ovation, which was so well deserved. And as much for Obi-Wan as it was for Anakin, which is what I really appreciated. And they just came out, and we're so grateful for the fandom. And by the way, we're in a huge arena.
Right.
As a matter of fact, at one point,
I think that the celebration stage held like 6,000 people.
Yeah, it was huge. It was packed. It was packed to all the seats that could see the stage. It was completely packed, especially for that event. And so the energy was there. Everyone with a little anticipation. I didn't know what to expect. So everyone with a ton of energy, and they did not disappoint. Period. I would say this.
So I think that was probably the coolest panel of the week.
I can't disagree with that.
You got, not only did you get John Williams conducting 3 songs, one of which was dropping for the first time, the Obi-Wan theme.
Yes.
You got Harrison Ford coming out and wishing him a happy birthday. You got the Andor trailer drop. You got
Ahsoka.
A sneak peek Ahsoka.
Ahsoka, by the way, they're only 3 weeks into filming, and they still took the time to put together kind of a little package. That's all it was. It was kind of like this very, I won't say, it was this very simple theme track and these lots of cut scenes of Ahsoka and her, garb and hands.
By the way, nice shirt.
Thank you, Ahsoka. So, but just thank you for doing that, because it's 3 weeks into filming.
Right. Nobody was expecting
No,
that.
not at all. 3 weeks in, I'd be like, we get it. Show us a picture of Rosario and we'll be good.
Yeah.
But no, they gave us a nice little peek, which was enough of a peek to freak us all out.
Yeah.
So
there was some reveals in that little sneak peek.
Absolutely.
And yeah, go ahead.
A season 3 Mandalorian sneak peek, which they doubled down on later in another panel, which was insane. You were at that panel.
Yeah, that was you.
No, you were at the double down panel. You saw 3, didn't you?
No,
I thought you did, because you were in the other. Whatever. Oh no, you were just in the Skeleton Crew, which is a new new title we didn't even have on our radar. It wasn't on the roadmap, right? I mean, somebody maybe knew about it, but we didn't. I didn't. Which is a cool show about 4 kids that get lost in the Star Wars galaxy. Not a kid show though, so like that. Think Stranger Things, I think, is one of the comparisons they made, or Clone Wars, which Filoni had a fun joke for. And then Andor. I would say look, I'm pumped about Ahsoka and I'm pumped about Mando 3, but Andor may take the cake. It just might take the cake.
Yeah.
And I've seen a couple things. I'm like, oh, it looks too clean and all this stuff. Think about the timeline. There is a lot of clean going on in the transition to the Empire. And so I just think, get ready, because Rogue One did not disappoint. I think they're keeping the same spirit as Rogue One. And Andor, we get 12 episodes 5 years before the Rogue One interactions, and then 12 more episodes walking you right up into Rogue One. So Andor's awesome. Want to talk about Willow?
Hey, Ron Howard.
Hey, Ron Howard. Yeah, Ron just came out, was chilling with us. He's not on the screen here, but he came out. Ron Howard, no big deal.
So, Josh, I want to point out here, all of these photos that you're posting up here seem to be from a nice
decent location
in the room there.
Yeah, a decent location.
That's what the Jedi Pass will get.
The Jedi Pass will get you about 5 rows back. And as you know, with most pictures, they always take away a little bit of what real life is. Real life felt like I was just in an intimate bar with these people. It was great, with a huge screen, obviously. I mean, Ron Howard, I think he winked at me. It was cool. Willow looks great. That's the only non-Star Wars thing that they really showcase, but I think it falls into the category of epic films, at least from our generation, coming back. So this is going to be another great series, and I know a lot of people are excited about that. And then I got him out of order. Anyway, there's Diego. That guy had so much energy. He was pumped. I want to tell you this, because we're going to stay on panels only this long, but I want to tell you this. Everyone at the panel was absolutely, all the actors, all the talent at the panel, they were so jazzed to be in a room with Star Wars fans. I mean, you could tell they had never had a reception. Think about it. They'd never had a reception, a standing ovation for a part that people haven't seen yet, except for some. Pedro, we've seen Diego, fine. But for upcoming shows, I mean, they were hugging each other, like not putting on a show. Like, they were so happy to be there, which I really appreciated. And then lots of comments to appreciating the fan support through all of these endeavors, and really like genuine, emotional, kind of conversation about what they're doing and how passionate they are about it. So I love that. And you only get that in a room where you're sitting with somebody. So I'll continue. And then Andy, you did this one. Tell us about this one.
This was the next day. I sat in on the 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones. It was so good. The people on stage, there were some tech people and there were some actors. Tamir Morrison, hilarious.
He's the greatest.
He's the best.
He really is.
He really is. And he had some nice banter back and forth with Daniel Logan. And that was pretty fun. But and I mean this no disrespect to the actors on the stage, but I could have listened to John Knoll, who was the digital, in charge of the kind of photography. He invented Photoshop.
Sure.
That guy for Lucasfilm Arts. John Knoll, Doug Chang, concept artist. He's the modern Ralph McQuarrie, and he's fantastic. And then Matt Wood, who's the modern Ben Burt, who's the sound designer, and he also has he plays some characters in the live action, in the movies and in some of the animated stuff. But anyway, just a recap on the movie and really listening to hear how cutting edge it was. It was the first movie ever shot completely digitally, and the challenges versus the benefits of doing that. And it was just, George Lucas was heavily involved in this conversation that day.
Right.
And it was cool to hear.
And then we got Ewan and Hayden again.
Yeah.
Ashley Ashley
Eckstein, hosted the panel, and we didn't know we were getting Hayden and Ewan McGregor. They came out later. Anthony Daniels, class act, and it was, and again, I'm just sitting. I'm in the third row, like they're just right there. And to take that picture, all I had to do was put my hand up. I didn't zoom. Yeah, they're just that close. And again, Josh, I appreciated that you handed off the Jedi Pass to me so that I could attend that and be where I was at. But it was great. That panel was awesome. Attack of the Clones probably is the least of the 3 prequel movies in a lot of people's rankings. Sure. But we got a lot of Star Wars in that we've circled back to in recent years. And
a lot of the weapons, all the the Republic's weapons and stuff all show up in Clone Wars, right?
Yeah. So
Attack of the Clones may be more, contributing to Clone Wars than any other of the 3 prequels, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we get, and this is part of Matt Wood and his sound design, but we got the seismic charge.
Yep.
That iconic sound.
Yep.
He is also, by the way, the voice of the battle droids. Roger.
Really?
Yeah, that's
I
him.
didn't know that.
Yeah, he has some voice parts and some character parts too. He's the voice of Grievous in the Clone Wars animated.
I'll be damned.
Yeah. So anyway, he's got some cool side parts too, not just being the excellent sound designer that he is. But more on Matt Wood later, Josh.
Oh, we know. I think these are out of order, but I will say the life-changing event is to watch John Williams conduct, which I think you can only do in a room like this, or if you get to attend the studio where they're recording for a movie. I don't know that John Williams does events. And so that hit me really hard. Like, I didn't know that my bucket list involved seeing John Williams conduct, especially at 90.
I'm jealous.
I don't blame you, and I would be very jealous too. Yeah. I'm apologetic to a degree.
I'm happy jealous.
And then, as you can see in the pic, here comes Mr. Harrison Ford to tell a great anecdote. And you know what I loved about him? Harrison was emotional talking to John, about the legacy that he is. And Harrison has contributed and performed with John's music in many more movies than most, right?
Yeah.
So absolutely fantastic to have that experience. And I will say one thing. This is one picture. I just put my phone down. I recorded a little bit, like I hit audio record because they were pretty strict on what you didn't want you to record any of the stuff that hadn't been released yet. But more so in the next panel, I just was kind of in the moment
which is great.
Which, to give you Tamora, he came out. It's called a haka, right? What's the dance?
Yeah.
He came out and did the whole tongue thing and like in front of the entire panel that had already come out, and they're like, Tamora Morrison. And he comes out and he's like, wah, wah, and he's doing that badass thing, and the whole crowd is up with him, like doing it with him. And he does it not for a second, not for 5 seconds. He does it for like 2 minutes. He doesn't even
Does
stop.
the whole thing.
Does the whole thing. Like and even the panel behind him is standing up. And so that was one of those moments. You have no pictures of that because I just put my phone down.
Because you were doing it with him.
I was standing up with him. And yes, I was just cheering. It was just cheering. Such a cool guy. So again, yeah, there you go. Williams. And then Andy, you and I, we got to
attend the world premiere of Obi-Wan episodes 1 and 2.
With Ewan, Hayden, and all the rest in the room.
Yeah. Well, you were in that room with them. I was on the Galaxy stage on the 3rd floor of the convention center with about 2,000 crazy
Maniacs.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that room, and that was it's one thing to attend a movie premiere, like at your local, like we've done that. We've gone to all of the sequel movies together on opening night. We've done Rogue One and Solo on opening night at our local theater, and
they're full.
Tons of fun.
Full.
Yeah, tons of fun. Atmosphere is great. This is different.
This is different.
It's so like, I mean, you can take the actual literal red carpet experience
we
aside,
did have that, yeah,
and that was present at the convention center. You can take that aside. Being in the room with 2,000 crazy Star Wars fans that, again, Obi-Wan is the perfect intersection of original trilogy, prequel trilogy, animated series, and moving forward, like current. And it hits all of those groups of people. So you've got young people, our age people, older people than us, all in the same room. And
thanks for not calling us old yet.
Well, I put us in the middle. And maybe that was generous.
Middle age.
I don't know.
Yeah, we get it.
But it was absolutely bananas because Lucasfilm shows up.
Yeah.
And then it gets quiet. And then, then they do the Disney Plus logo thing. And it's like, and then
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan, and the sands.
And then his theme song, the John Williams theme song.
My gosh.
And then here we go.
Yeah. And then we're watching it, and it's great. The first 2 episodes I thought were really, really good. And I've gone back and watched them again, and I still think they're really, really good. Anyway.
Again, hold on. Another jealousy moment, though, for you is that I shared a row with the Bombad boys. I had Jerry and Scotty in my row.
Yes, you did.
And the only thing separating me from maybe more moisture, human moisture, than I need to experience when watching a Star Wars premiere was Scotty's beautiful fiance, because there were tears.
Moisture.
I'm telling you, there was sweat. There was lamentations of flecks of spittle. And it was the full Scotty and Jerry Bombad cast emotional roller coaster. I don't know if I enjoyed Obi-Wan as much as I enjoyed that. I gotta be. I mean, I love Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
but I was just like this.
He was looking at the guys. Yeah.
This guy's going, oh my god! They're elbowing it. Oh my god! I mean, it was the greatest.
I know, and we will talk.
You
more.
Can't buy that.
No, we'll talk more about Obi-Wan in another podcast episode. That's just another deep dive. That
gotcha.
Like, God, the fact that they opened up this series with Order 66 and it just goes
brutal.
Hard.
We can't talk about
No, okay. Moving on.
All right. And then we got to see Pedro. If we're going to keep on the panels here, I loved him. He was very emotional when he came in. This was the Mandalorian Plus is what they called it, because it gave us some extra stuff. He was awesome. Very emotional. A fan of Star Wars. So grateful to Filoni and John for what they've given him the opportunity, and the fans freaking went nuts for him, as well they should.
Yep.
Savior of the franchise currently. And that's it. That's the panels. We have done panels. Not bad time. Time's pretty good right now.
All I
Add some panels. I know that's it for the pictures.
Okay, so I was also able to attend the Siege of Mandalore viewing.
Oh yeah. See, did you take any crowd pics of that or anything?
I didn't, because I just went
In the
and
moment.
watched.
Good for
I
you.
just I
Good for
watched
you.
it. So the Siege of Mandalore are the last 4 episodes of season 7 of the animated Clone Wars series, and they are, in my opinion, the best 4 episodes in that 7-season series. They are some of the best Star Wars, live action, animated or otherwise. It's moving. The music, the story arc of those 4 episodes, the dancing between light and dark side, the characters that have been developed for 7 animated seasons plus movies. Like it's peak. And we were treated to a panel after that included Dave Filoni, Carrie Beck, who's one of the producers of the show, and there was another lady who was a producer of the show, and I'm sorry I can't remember her name, but those 3 people hosted with David Collins. It was, to listen to them talk about this would be like listening to somebody talk about their own kid. They were beaming with pride about these 4 episodes. Filoni acknowledges these are the best 4 episodes in the Clone Wars. And it was because of it took 6 seasons of building the characters up, getting better at what we were doing, animation wise, story wise. It was just the culmination of everything that they were doing into 4 episodes that were darn near perfect. And after listening to Filoni speak with such care about Ahsoka and Rex and Maul, those 3 in particular, I've never been more convinced that Star Wars is going in the right direction. It's in the right hands, and that Ahsoka will probably be the best series that has come out.
All right, Andor versus Ahsoka. I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I would love to be wrong and right.
Right. I know. There's not going to be a loser in this. But
speaking of animated, though, can I just point out?
Yeah.
And you just kind of made the point. So we have this panel. They're talking about Kenobi. Dave and John are at the front end of the table. They're there. Dave keeps, about Kenobi, keeps kind of passing over to John, keeps, passing around the room. And then Mandalorian, he keeps passing to John, passing over the room. When it came to Ahsoka, Dave's demeanor entirely changed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I can't disagree with what Andy just said. I think that the passion that Filoni has for Ahsoka will be so relevant, so prevalent in that series that it's going to be hard to be contained. It's going to be hard to beat, because he said himself, he sees Rosario through the camera for the first time, obviously in The Mandalorian, and he kind of loses it a little bit, because this is the culmination of all this, like you said, 7 years of work and really good work, work that started maybe as kind of a fun thing Disney entertained and turned into an iconic part of the Star Wars universe. And there it is in live action for the whole world to see,
right,
with a phenomenal actress in Rosario, with some of the best makeup you'll ever see. I mean, just perfect.
There were two questions that were asked to the panel that Dave Filoni really kind of took the lead on in answering, and one was specifically to him, and it was, did you always know that this is how the Clone Wars was going to end, with those last 4 episodes? And he's like, well, I had about 10 years to think about this. And while it did change and evolve a little bit over that time, ultimately I knew, as soon as I created characters like Ahsoka Tano and Captain Rex, that I knew this was not going to end well. And I knew that from the very first episode. I knew that from the movie that we made.
Yep.
And I knew that it was going to end badly. So I had 10 years to figure out how these characters who we were growing to love, and who ended up being very prominent Star Wars characters today, how are they going to survive Order 66 with Rex still being who he is, Ahsoka being still who she is, and Maul still being who he is.
Right.
Because it was not going to end well. We know how it ends, and it wasn't good. So how do we reconcile that? And then he just spoke about good and evil and how
he's a true Star Wars genius, if not a genius completely.
He is in the lore and will tell the story better than how George Lucas will tell the story. George will always push the tech and the sound and the experience. The difference between him and Filoni is that Filoni has the ability to tell the story in a way that I think personally comes off a little cleaner.
Well, it's like it's almost like the fans' interpretation of the story, right? Like, which we struggle with a little bit, like expectations of fans, because all of a sudden your imagination goes wild, and now you have a guy who knows exactly how Star Wars works, whose imagination's going wild. And I think that's what we're seeing in Filoni, which I think is a perfect evolution. It's an evolution we didn't have for a while, and for whatever reason, but it's one that's happening. And I want to point out, if you watched Kenobi, the end credits right in the beginning, thanks Dave Filoni. Yep. I mean, think about that. We're in. How much of a part of Kenobi was he? He wasn't. He was there though. That's what's important.
Yeah.
So
he's involved, and that's what gives me confidence. Last thing I'll say about panels, I attended a smaller panel on the collector stage about Star Wars movie posters and collecting Star Wars movie posters. And I was in the presence of beautiful art. And there are people with collections out there that will blow your mind. And I got to listen to 3 guys who have poster collections that just the posters themselves are absolutely bananas. Something that I aspire to one day, but I just haven't been doing it long enough to ever get there. But that was incredible. That was an incredible experience too, as far as collecting goes. And that is part of the reason why we were at Star Wars Celebration, for the collecting experience. And that panel was pretty sweet. And they had so many, there was no shortage of incredible panels to sit in on, whether they were on the Celebration massive stage or they were on the podcast stage, which is small and intimate, or
the live stage,
which was awesome.
With the set from the Belgian set designers.
Yeah, the Belgian prop crew. So, I mean, there was no shortage of awesome people to listen to all weekend long. Every day you were there. It was not which one will I go to, but which ones can I go to? Because a lot of times they were overlapping. I was going to, go to one, but it was overlapping with another one. So I could only, it was like, it was hopscotch. It was stage hopscotch is what it was. You had to navigate that. And, I think we did really well at it, Josh, personally.
I don't disagree. Now we are, like what you said, a little in the middle of the ages, and we had to go take a break every now and then. But fortunately, our hotel was in 10-minute, well, even less, right? 7-minute walking distance. We were in our hotel. So very cool. Very cool. All right. What's next, Andy? We got to keep moving so we can stay on top of our timeline here. And,
hello, Lady Catherine.
Hello.
That's Scotty's.
Oh, our girl. The one, the phlegm shield. That did not sound right.
Cross the line.
Yeah. Well, no, I told the story, but yeah. Our girl, though. Our girl. Lovely lady. Scotty's a lucky man. What's next?
Let's talk about the pals that we met.
Are we going pals?
We're going pals. Let's go pals.
I thought it was panels, purchases, pals. All right.
Here's a list.
Okay.
I made a list of people that
now not everyone made the picture cut.
No, because
in the moment.
So let's start off with patrons that we met down there.
Okay.
We already mentioned we saw Gary and his daughter.
We did, and I don't have a picture of them.
We queued.
He has a picture of us,
and I do too. And I posted it on Twitter. That's why you need to follow us on Twitter at Holo Chronicles, because we post a lot of pictures. We hooked up and connected with Frank and Amy Framey.
Framey's here
as-
now. He just showed up. He was
as,
pissed that he missed the notification.
Oh,
we even got
hey.
this out at like noon today. This is like record breaking here.
So we got to see Frank and Amy, and that was those are two people that we've been talking to almost since the start of being on Twitter. So that was really cool. We got to meet JD and his lovely girlfriend. Okay, so far Gary, Frank, JD, all tall.
Yeah, huge mother.
All tall.
What's going on?
Yeah, all tall. What's up with that? All taller than us, I should say. We met our buddy Jason.
We're not small fries.
No, we're not. We met Jason O'Toole in the chat here.
You did. I didn't get to meet him. Darn it.
Got a picture with him.
All right.
Got to meet Todd, our buddy Todd.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get a picture. Missed out on that. Missed opportunity. Sorry, Todd.
Andy, not the best selfie guy.
Well, on one hand, but on the other hand, I'm a great selfie guy. So, it was cool to see the patrons. You know, our backbone support. That was excellent.
Hold on, can I throw some pictures up?
Please.
Let me throw some up, and maybe we go through them this way. So I just want, like, that's me next to Scotty. There's Katie. There's Jerry at Kenobi.
Yes.
Believe it. I was there. Let's go next. There you go, Nick. We met
Nick Milkey.
Fitting that's in front of a Modelo mirror. I don't recall that. Nick, hold on. Do we want to go through like taller than we thought, shorter than we thought?
No.
Come on.
That's a fun game for private conversations.
I will say this. All my expectations were met.
Yes.
Andy may have had different expectations. Actually, let me say this.
Okay, so
don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me. I'll be fine. JD's fucking huge.
Yeah, he's a big tall guy.
I'll put that one out. He's a big son of a gun.
Yeah.
Love him.
Big fella.
Yep.
And also looks stunning in Jedi robes.
Oh my God.
As does Frank. Then we met up with I kind of grouped some of these people together too. Some of the Beyond the Blast Doors crew.
Oh,
so
much
that
fun.
Does include Scotty and Jerry.
It does.
That does include Pete Fletzer.
It does, and I don't have a picture with him. See, I screwed that up.
Yeah, and I did too.
I was so happy to meet Pete.
That does include Scotty's fiance Katie.
Yep.
And two guys that are frequently on the Bomb Bag Cast, which I think they're going live right now. They have a show right now. But Eric and Trey, those two guys who are regulars on their show. That includes Nick Milkey. That includes Arzu.
It does, Arzu.
Why don't we
not have a picture with her?
I do.
Okay, thank God. Am I?
Or she does.
Arzu, send it to us if you
Yeah.
watch this. And Arzu was in the one row in front of me at Kenobi.
Oh, cool.
She was creeping though. She's like, I see you. And I couldn't find her until she like stood up.
And then and Greg Ion Cannon met him.
Yeah, he was in my row too. I got to
Yeah.
meet him. He had his mask on, so I was like, hey, and he told me who he was, and it was awesome to meet him. And you met him.
Yeah, I met him later. And then that rolls into other content creators and people who we've communicated with. Our guy now, Josh, when I say
put it up.
the best hugger in the galaxy.
Look at that hug.
Yeah, he's in deep.
He's a deep hugger.
I must have, when I bumped into him in the bar of our hotel, like this was the first day, it was a pleasantly, awkwardly long hug with Alan. He just would not let go. He was
it was like
Andy. And I was
the
like,
kind of hug
Alan.
it's the kind of hug you didn't know you needed.
It was,
but it's the one that you had to have.
It was a deep embrace, and we just laughed, and it was so good to see him. He's the best, man.
Look at that.
I know.
I mean, he's got a foot like he's not done with that hug. I took the picture. No. We kept hugging.
Mm-hmm.
I love that guy. He's such a genuine person. We met up with him and participated in his one question only, which
Star Wars experience.
Experience.
He's I love that guy.
Look at this guy
standing in line.
Who did we see?
Standing in line for the Rancho Obi-Wan exhibit. Mark Thompson, everybody, the voice of Star Wars audiobooks.
All right, hold on. I'm bragging about this one. Andy walks over, and I played Shy Josh. He's like, I'm going to see Mark. I'm like, all right, go ahead. I'll take a picture. And Andy took his own picture. Good for him. Selfie. And
It's a great selfie.
Andy's standing there, and I'm listening. I can hear, like, because we were in line at Rancho Obi-Wan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's says something, and I'm like, and he's like, Josh loves you too, Andy. And he points to me. I'm like, you're my favorite Star Wars narrator, period. I said, hold on. I'm like, I'm going to ask you a question. You just answer with one word, perhaps. And I'm like, hey, Mark, you want to go out for a beer tonight? And he goes, perhaps, in his Thrawn voice. And I was like, yeah! And then we were done. And the whole crowd cheered. It was great. It was great.
And Rancho Obi-Wan was fantastic, by the
Yes.
way. And the theme of Rancho Obi-Wan was from Boba Fett to Bo-Katan.
Yes.
Very Mando theme, Mandalorian theme. That was great.
We have a few. Here's some friends right here.
Yeah, some cosplay friends.
George showed up.
Yeah, that's such a great cosplay.
And what is that? Fluke Skywalker?
Luke Skywalker and Force Ghost. Yeah.
Oh, so good. So good.
We met up with.
Oh, hold on. I'll go back.
Oh, wait, that's a.
No, hold on. I'll
Disneyland.
tell that story too. This is pals. You're my pal.
Yeah.
We have a picture of me and you.
Yeah.
You want me to keep going? You
Yeah,
want me to
keep
tell?
going.
All right, here we go. So we transition to Star Wars night in Disneyland. Andy, you have not been to Disneyland since when?
Since I was 17, so 1994.
1994. So Andy and I roll into Disneyland. We're walking through. Cool thing about what they did there is if you had the Star Wars night badge or bracelet, they were shuffling out all the normies.
All the
all the muggles were getting shoved out. If you didn't have your Star Wars bracelet, get out of Disneyland, because from 9 o'clock till 1 a.m. it was only Star Wars fans for Star Wars night. And so all of a sudden rides start getting real available. I'm like, Andy, what ride do you want to go on? What ride do you want to go on? And Andy chooses as the first ride that we go on.
Yes.
The Storybook Cruise. Now, if you've never been to Disneyland, the Storybook Cruise,
it was great.
is a small little boat,
slow
little boat that has a conductor, a gal in this case,
tour guide,
a tour guide,
essentially,
so to speak. And you start out and you go through the mouth of Monstro the whale from Pinocchio.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's all small diorama models of all the different movies as your tour guide gives you.
To your left.
It is very
to your right.
It's look, at one point it got kind of romantic. I'm like, out of all the rides in Disneyland,
That's the first one.
he's like, that one. I'm like, no, okay.
And you know what? You said, you know what, Andy? I'm okay with that.
I'm okay
Let's
with
do
that.
it.
I'm okay with that. I hadn't been
It
on it
was
since
so
I was
good.
10. And so we went
It
through it,
was so
Andy and I
good.
next to each other.
God, it was so good.
We went under some beautiful lights. I think that were Aladdin inspired. It was wonderful.
A whole new world. It was so good. All right. Anyway,
And then
this happened.
there she is.
There she is. You
Well,
came
Andy-
in that thing?
Andy.
That hunk of junk?
First impressions.
Fucking huge, man. It was.
Would you say
life
1 to 1?
size. Yeah. It's 1-to-1 scale. Hit the music. But no, it's great. I mean, it's not only is it the greatest toy that was ever made, in my opinion, but it's just a beast to behold with your eyes,
Beautiful.
man. It's so
Beautiful.
it was so big. It was so awesome. It was so
Well done.
awe-inspiring. Like that's the freaking Millennium Falcon right
You
there.
think it could take off, and every now and then the steam
Yeah.
shoots down. I mean, it's fantastic. And this is when you and I argued about who's going to be pilot.
Yeah.
How disrespectful.
I forgot we took that picture. But we only had to wait, what was it, like 35 minutes to get on
Yeah,
that?
that was
was
easy.
when we got to Galaxy's Edge, we went right to that and got in line, and it was still daylight. It
And
was
we
like
were with
6 o'clock.
JD and his girlfriend. And
Yeah.
That was great.
And
And there, now this is moving on a little bit.
yeah,
Now, Andy got a little tummy ache
I did.
and decided, I'm out of here. And I think it was from that wild storybook ride. Too much jostling next
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Cinderella's 1/40th scale castle. But then JD and I Made it to we got in line for a 50-minute wait on Rise of the Resistance, which if you go to Disneyland, you either have to pay extra to get on that ride or wait in a 2.5-hour line. So we were pretty fortunate. We never stopped moving. We got right in, and this is actually a picture of JD. And by the way, JD's crouching to get into that picture. A picture of the hangar where you have all the troopers, and then up there you can even see a Star Destroyer that is flying by, and it feels like you could jump out of the airlock, whatever force field they have in place. But fantastic. So much fun to ride that with just JD and I. We just rocked that thing.
Yeah, you did.
We were screaming like little girls. It was great.
Well, one of the best parts about Star Wars Night is that while most of the people were in Galaxy's Edge, that left the rest of the park scarcely inhabited. So
exactly.
You walked right up and rode Indiana Jones. We walked right up and rode Star Tours.
Yep.
There was virtually no line for Space Mountain. There was a little bit of a line for Thunder Mountain, but that's just because it's right outside of Galaxy's Edge, I think.
I think so.
And so, but even still, when we say you had to wait in line, it was maybe 5 minutes in any other ride in the park.
Right.
And so,
Wars, yep. Well,
so,
even Star Tours.
What was the price of that ticket? $75?
100.
It was $100. $175. Okay. Worth it.
Yeah.
Because
you get like Disneyland in like 4 hours with a bunch of Star Wars fans. It's ridiculous. 5 hours.
And so they kept it open until 1 o'clock. You know what? Can I get through the rest of these people that we met? I'm just gonna read this list off here. Alan Voivod, that's where I left off. We saw a number of times Chris Ryans.
Yeah.
From Bro Axiom.
Yep. All the time. Yeah. We ate like dinner with him like 3-4 times.
ARS Michael, longtime friend of the program. Kyle Katarn.
Looks younger in person.
Exactly. Sage Steele. You didn't meet Sage. I met Sage. Not. Great Aussie. Force Toast Laura.
Yeah.
Fanboy Cantina. Saw him in the chat earlier. Got to see him a couple times. Mark Diabolito. Rebel Base Card Greg. I have a fun story about him. Joey, the Padawan collector.
Oh yeah, we cruised for a while.
Yeah, I was with him for a couple hours on Sunday morning. Silver from Star Wars Thrifting. She's cool.
She's very cool.
John, Lacey, and James from the Resistance broadcast. We ran into them like one of the first.
Yep, first
night. Cool people. Clayton Sandell.
Yeah.
Awesome guy.
I didn't meet
awesome
him.
guy. Dan Zare from Coffee with Kenobi. Awesome guy. I had beers with them for about an hour just talking with them. They were great. Alex and Molly Damon from Star Wars Explained. Milky Way Skywalker, our buddy from Instagram. Adam Frazier, our guy.
Yep.
Bill Alexander from Bat 2797, who does the 3D modeling prints that we often tweet about. Our buddy artist Jason Chrisman. He was awesome. We met two guys named Daz and Dave, a couple of British chaps who were over, and hopefully they're watching. I already said the Belgian prop crew guys. C. Stribbs, Claire.
C. Stribbs.
And her
Scribs, I like to call her.
And her friend Allie and her friend Mel, the Grissassin.
The Grissassin.
Danikin Skywalker, another one of the buddies from the Bombad cast. Cool guy. Brian from Pink Milk, who had his own panel there, by the way.
Yeah.
Alden Diaz. Tyler and Joseph. We met those guys the next to last night. A couple of young fellas. Charlie Ashby, who has us blocked for some reason on Twitter. I'm not sure.
Sorry, Charlie. Whatever we did.
Yeah, I apologize. Meredith, Nikki Kumar, Lauren Romo, Mark DJ Marquise, Dominic Pace in full gecko.
Dude, hold on. Can I say this?
Yeah.
We're walking up to the live stage. That's on the main floor. We've kind of done our thing. We're just kind of cruising. We don't know what's going on there. And here comes Gecko.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Full cosplay
Gecko. I'm like, oh, that guy looks pretty big.
Looks good, yeah.
And I'm like, I look at Andy. I'm like, is Dominic here? And he's like, I don't know. And then he walks right by us, and Andy goes, hey, man, look, great costume. You seen Dominic around? And in the full mask, he goes, I am Dominic. We're like, we knew. Yeah. So we saw Dominic.
Gus Lopez, one of the premier Star Wars collectors in the nation. Our guy, Steve Sansweet. That was a pleasure. I
Mhm.
did shake his hand and told him I was a big fan. And then 3 other guys that I met. You mind if
I got you. You're big.
Okay.
Here we go.
Woo! Okay, here's the cherry on top of the entire weekend.
This is
Unplanned and perfect. All right, get ready. Those that are still with us, thanks for hanging out. Chat, thanks for hanging with us.
of course, always chat.
Those on the rewind here, this is an incredible story. So, like Josh said, I had a little tummy ache on Star Wars night at Disneyland, and while the park was open till 1:00, it was about midnight, and I was like, I gotta go. I gotta go. I just don't want to feel worse tomorrow. I'm just gonna go in. We'd been up late every night.
Oh,
We were
yeah.
walking everywhere. My legs, my body was probably rejecting the fact that I was treating myself like a 20-year-old. But so I decided that, okay, well, but on my way out, I'm going to go take a selfie in front of the Walt Disney statue that's right in the middle of the park. So I get to the middle, and there it is. I walk up, and then I think, I recognize that guy. That's Matt Wood. I was just listening to him on the Attack of the Clones panel a few hours ago. So I'm like, hey, Matt. And he's there with like a group of people. I'm like, hey, Matt. Because he's tall. He's got glasses, gray hair. And I was like, hey, Matt. And he turns around and he's like, yeah. I was like, oh, man. I walked over and I shook his hand. I was like, hey, I just was sat in on the panel that you were in. And I thought I could have listened to you and Doug Chang and John Knoll for the entire time. Forget the actors. And he's like, he laughed. He's like, oh, that's kind of you, but we do have to bring some actors on just to kind of stroke their egos. You know how actors can be. So we laughed about that, of course, funny joke. And then we start having this great conversation. He's like, is this your first celebration? Yeah, it is. Oh, that's fantastic. And we're talking, and he's like, oh, I'm here with a few buddies, and we're going to go ride the Peter Pan ride. We're just kind of waiting for people to take us there. And it didn't click to me at the time that Disney personnel was walking him through the park. And so as soon as he says that, the guy who's standing, I could reach out and touch him, but I didn't realize who he was. He turns around and says, Matt, you ready to go? And it's Sam Witwer. I'm like, oh, all right. You're okay. So your buddies with Sam Witwer. Okay. That's pretty cool. Sam, big fan, Sam, and he's like, thanks. And he's like, and then there's another guy and a gal standing next to Sam who were talking. And I assume they're husband and wife or, whatever. But as soon as Sam says, you ready to go, Matt? And then the other guy turns around and goes, all right, let's go. And it's Dave Filoni and his wife or girlfriend. I don't know if they're married, but it's Dave Filoni. He's right there. Right. And I was like, oh, you're friends with Dave Filoni too. That's cool. Like, Dave, keep up the good work, man. I didn't know what to say. And he's like, thanks. And 3 Disney people, kind of one on each side and one in the front, they kind of start walking, and then they start walking, and I'm still talking with Matt. So I'm walking with Dave Filoni and Sam Witwer and Matt Wood, and I'm talking with Matt Wood, and it's awesome. And I'm in the entourage now, and there's people going, I can see them. They're like, hey, that's Dave Filoni, yeah, that's Sam Witwer. Yeah. And who's that guy? That's me. And I can see people like doing that, nudging each other. But I'm still having this great conversation with Matt Wood, like Matt freaking Wood. I'm geeking out about that all by itself. And so we're walking through the park, escorted by Disney people who aren't letting people come up and ask for autographs or get pictures taken. And I'm in the entourage somehow, and my stomach is killing me, and I'm got the biggest grin on my face, and I'm probably just nerding out. But we get to the Peter Pan ride, and they take him into kind of like a side entrance that you don't have to go through, the people, the little people. And I was like, hey, Matt, this is great talking to you. I'll let you go, but keep up the good work, and have a great rest of your weekend. He's like, oh, thanks, Andy. If you see me later on, come say hi. And I'm like, oh, he remembered my name, so they go in, and I turn around and I start walking out of the park, and I'm not sure my feet hit the ground. Like, I was just like, I can't believe that just happened. I was in Dave Filoni and Sam Witwer and Matt Wood's entourage walking through the park, escorted by Disney personnel, and I got to be in it. And it was unplanned. I can't tell that story to people here at home. They don't get it.
They don't care.
They don't understand why Matt Wood is important. They don't know who Dave Filoni is. Even when I say, well, he's the new George Lucas, that's the best way I can explain it. And they're like, oh, okay. No, it lands short of how cool that experience was. And I'm walking by myself and I'm just like, I can't believe that just happened. I'm replaying it in my mind. And then I run into Rebel base card Greg, and he's walking out of the park the same time I am. I'm like, Greg, the most crazy thing just happened. And we talked and we laughed and I get to the hotel and I'm in the elevator and it stops on the floor and a guy gets on and I'm just kind of standing there. I'm like, he's like, hey, how's your night? And I'm like, I just met Dave Filoni. And he's like, what? And I was like, finally, that's an appropriate reaction there, And I tried calling you and
me and JD were on Rise of the Resistance thinking we had scored.
And you did. I know you did, but man, that was unbelievably awesome and cool. And yeah, that was like I said, the cherry on top of 100 experiences that I will cherish.
Yeah.
So amazing stuff, man.
I'm happy for you. You deserve that.
I had the biggest smile on my face the whole time I was there.
Papa Gord, hi. Hi to everyone in the chat. People still joining us. Andy just told an amazing story. You're going to have to hit that on the rewind because it's good. All right, Andy. Let's bring it in. I don't have any. Hold on. I'm just going to add these. Let's finish with pals, right?
Yeah.
All right. So there's me and JD. And then we met some pals that we didn't know. We met Bosk.
Which, if you can follow him on Instagram, I figured out who that was, and it's
stalker.
Jag Eyes.
Jag Eyes, okay. Yeah. And then Hulk.
R2 Hulkbuster.
R2 Hulkbuster D2. And then this one's my favorite because this is the end of pals. So we're all done, right? It's time to go. This one kills me. Hold on, I got to make sure to do it like this so we get a bigger picture. This one kills me. It's time to go. We say goodbye to Scotty. It's my favorite picture. Look at him. It's on his toes. Katie, if you're still in the room. Look at this beautiful man you've decided to marry. I love him so much. Oh, so good. Andy and I with a double smooch to Scotty. We just smooched Jerry too. He wasn't up for it. No, he wasn't there. But he was there, but he wasn't in between our lips.
No, he was putting his bag up or something.
Yeah. So we love the Bombad boys. They're awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. There you go. That's the end of pals. All right, you ready to get into purchase? Oh,
great question. Do I now get to wear Dave's friend shirt?
Dude, why have we not made that?
I know. We need to send one to Paul.
And Paul, by the way, spoiler alert, fully in the trailer for Mando 3.
He is still around.
Still around.
Love it.
No, he doesn't look like an X-Wing pilot, but good for him. Matt, I'm putting that up. You're not lying.
That's funny.
The hands in my back.
Yeah.
All right. You ready? You want to rip through some of your purchases? Andy was the purchase meister. I went on a lower end. I was there for the experiences. That's what I paid for. Andy went there for some swag in the collector sphere. And so we are going to go through it. You ready for that?
Yeah, just put one up and let's talk about it. Okay, these are about the size of a piece of paper, each one of them. They are Japanese mini posters that they handed out after the movies, and they kind of do that here in some theaters. Sure. But these are all from Japan, and these are all from the movies when they came out. On the back side of them, because they're kind of like they're card backed like a comic is at the moment, but the back is just Japanese advertisements.
Okay.
So the Rogue One is from when Rogue One came out. The Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars, and Return of the Jedi ones are from when those movies came out. They're inexpensive, small versions of the movie posters, but they are original from those eras. So they were about $15 each, and I love them. They're small. They're easy to display. I'm going to put them in frames. I don't know where I'm going to put them, but they're excellent. And they're Japanese. I love the foreign stuff.
Yeah.
Love the foreign stuff.
It's beautiful. All right. Next. What's this, Andy?
This is the back of the CAS card back set that I picked up when I was with Joey, the Padawan collector. When we stopped by the collectibles authentic shoot, I can't remember what
Syndicate.
what CAS stands for. Anyway, it's the grading. It's the grading. I'm totally brain farting.
Collectibles Authentication Syndicate. That's what I want.
Syndicate. Yeah, sure.
All right.
But this is the back of a card back set that they were handing out as part of their swag for the week. If you go to the next picture, I believe you get a picture of the fronts. Yeah. So there's a set of 6, and these are just some custom card backs that they made at their little booth. And then they raffled off a set that were graded because they are a grading company.
Sure.
And they had them all graded at 100 plus.
I'm sure they did.
Which does not exist.
It does not.
But as just a little tongue in cheek. But I thought they were pretty cool. I got a set of them. That was the back of them. So anyway.
All right. What do we have here? Made it home safe, I see.
Yeah, so I picked these up. These were nice little gets. As you know, if you've been watching, I'm trying to go back through and get the boxes for the items that I have for the vintage run. And I didn't have these boxes, and they actually came complete with the items inside. So I've got some doubles of those if anybody needs. But I'm keeping the boxes, everybody. I'm keeping the boxes. So, yep, I was able to get those home in good condition. You know, there's a little tape peel that you can see on the PDT 8, but the front sides, all the other sides are in great shape, and they're very square. So very cool. I was happy to get those. I kind of had my eye on it. There, I could have gotten the entire set of those, but I just grabbed a couple at the time.
Cool. I like them.
Yeah.
This one I really like. I think this is a good get.
Yeah, the box is pristine, but this is a unopened Jabba the Hutt action playset. Now this is one of 2 box styles that this came in, but it's sealed. Yeah, this is a sealed version. So this flew with me on my lap. This was one of my carry-ons.
Did you carry that? Okay.
So I actually went up in the overhead compartment.
Sure.
It was pretty cool. Really happy to get that. I don't have a Jabba box, but now I've got the complete set in a sealed box.
These are very fun.
These were a fun get.
These were a good get.
$10
each. A
each.
full Andy get right here.
Yeah,
I would walk right by and not know that they were awesome, but Andy can stop and see.
So
smell the roses.
These come from a 4-pack of kind of vinyl placemats. They're soft and squishy.
Yeah, you put a bowl of cereal on these sons of bitches,
and it'll
hold them gently.
Yes, and leave a little ring, but it'll form back out. So I got 2 of them. The Vader and Leia, along with the Boba
Which I
Fett
love that
and
it's
Chewie.
like, I love that it's Hoth Leia being detained by Vader. So we even kind of missed the mark.
There's
a little
some continuity
bit. There's
issues
some continuity issues here,
but
or at least alternate universe issues. But these 2 were fantastic in my opinion.
Yeah,
I loved them. What are you after?
Let's see. Well, I thought there was a question like asking price.
No, they're talking amongst themselves, so you're fine.
Well, I don't have a problem sharing prices.
What year?
These placemats are Empire Strikes Back era, and they were $10 each.
Bargain.
The mini rigs were $60 each. Jabba was $250.
$250. Now, how do you feel about that price?
I'm fine with it. I'm absolutely fine with it. I didn't really.
You didn't balk at it. I was there when you made the deal, and you didn't balk at it. So.
No, in fact, it was kind of tucked away, kind of behind some things, and it wasn't really displayed very well at the vendor booth. And so I had to ask about it. You know, like, hey, back there, how much you want for that? And he's like, it's sealed, $250. I was like, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not even gonna haggle with you. This is a Danny Haas Celebration exclusive print, numbered set out of 250, titled Victory and Death.
It's beautiful,
and
I really like it.
It kind of went along with the 20th anniversary of the Clone Wars plus the Siege of Mandalore panel. I mean, it's just like kind of went along with some things that I hit along the way. I had pre-ordered this. I'm a big fan of Danny Haas work, and I'll type the name in the chat just so if you want to look up what he does, it's pretty awesome. He's got great stuff. There's, I could have dropped a lot of money just in the artist.
Oh yeah,
The artist.
The problem I have with
area.
me too, but I just look and I'm like, I hate to buy them and have them not hit the wall. I mean, I still have art that hasn't hit the wall, and
yeah.
All right, here's some more.
I got this. This is a mini poster for attending the Star Wars poster panel. They handed these out. This is from the Star Wars poster group on Facebook that kind of hosted this and put it on. And if you zoom in, you can see. And it's Star Wars movie poster group on Facebook.
Cool.
So cool group. If I was on Facebook, I would definitely be a part of that. Yeah.
All right. This was one of my gets from showing up to the panel. I think Matt commented on it.
Yeah.
The Andor poster. I absolutely love it. I think it's actually tuned me to, I'm going to collect all new Disney Plus series posters just to kind of support the path we're on right now, which includes this one, which I think is also amazing. And
we both got one.
Spoiler alert. Speaks to the episode we just watched.
Yeah, number 3.
It might be a little lighter, more daylight, but we don't know if this happens later. But I just loved this imagery right here with Vader's saber and Kenobi in the void. Yeah, Andor. I'm telling you, who said that? Somebody said it in the chat, but somebody is rooting for Andor, and I'm on their team. Andor might be it might have been. Was it Framey? I don't know. Somebody said that. Andor might be. No. It was Paul's Collectibles.
Yeah.
Andor will be the premier series, and I against Ahsoka, and like I said, I'd love to be wrong, but I'd actually love to be mostly right, but like in a way that we could contest, so that they're both awesome.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's our gifts. That was my gifts, and JD threw that out there too. All his swag is in the mail, as is mine. JD and I both
mailed some things.
Spoiler alert! Mailed some things out. Oh, actually, I won't spoil it. We'll put them out there. It was something. JD actually paid $10 less than I did because I waited a day or 2 days before I bought mine, and the guy figured out how much Disneyland was selling them for and upped the price. Smart guy. It's a good businessman. And sold out, by the way. So that was cool. And then some T-shirts, the one I'm wearing right now, which I'm happy to have. Jesus, put Scotty back up.
Yeah, well, you're wearing the T-shirt.
I'm wearing it right there. Yeah, it has not been washed since I touched Scotty, and it will not be washed.
No, I still haven't washed this hand from shaking Matt Wood's hand.
Okay, all right.
But no, we got a print. Did you get a Jason Christman print?
I did not, but I'm definitely buying that.
Okay,
that
I got one. There's a couple things that I got that I didn't post pictures of, and
well, we have plenty of stuff to continue to share. We've got stuff we're not even spinning tonight because we knew this was going to be a packed recap.
Yeah.
Andy, we started with a couple words to describe the experience as a whole. What's a couple words to describe the experience as a look back?
I'm still processing it. Yeah, to be honest with you.
Look forward, because now we know what we got the next one in London, right?
In London. What I'm excited about is that we do have a lot of UK.
I'm on the screen. I'm like, blah, 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 blah.
We do have a lot of friends in the UK, and I'm very excited for them. I know that plans are already being made, and that's really exciting because it would be fun to go to it. Just to watch them experience what we just got to experience,
but also in a whole new land,
in a different land.
Like let's think Mandalorian here, where we're going to a different planet, experiencing an entire different culture, a different way to experience Star Wars, and by some rights, or by some way of looking at it, they have rights to the franchise, maybe more than we do,
maybe
other than where it started.
Yeah. Much has happened in the
land
of the UK,
in Britannia.
So I'm excited for them I'm still kind of on a high myself. I'm still trying to catch up on sleep. I'm a little, foggy headed. I haven't been able to tell anybody really at home what my experience was like. And I can do that here with you guys. Just like if you would have taken out the 55 people that I wrote down, and that is inevitably leaving people out too, by the way. If it wouldn't have been the same without you guys.
Yeah.
And there were people there that we missed seeing, like Kendall, like Mr. Rez, like Thomas,
Right.
like the Condor, Michael Condor, Tumed. He was
Jeez,
there. Like we missed some big people that we've been interacting with for years now. And even so, like you guys made the week, like you guys were another notch to the week that if you take that away, it wouldn't have been as good. It wouldn't have been as good not seeing you guys there. It wouldn't have been as good trying to experience what we got to go through with other people, with strangers, but we got to do it with you guys. And that I will never forget this weekend. I will always cherish this weekend, and I hope I will always remember all of this weekend.
I agree.
Josh, I got a couple questions I want to ask you before we go, because this is the kind of stuff that I've been trying to answer about my experience.
Okay.
How many girls were at this thing?
Quite a few.
Percentage-wise, what would
I
you
would
break
say
it down
we were
with?
at 30 to 40%, which would have been that there were a lot. Like I didn't feel like it was
A dude fest?
yeah, thank you. No, I really didn't.
Yeah.
And what I like to see is that you definitely saw the ladies that were there for Star Wars, which I freaking love.
Mm-hmm.
But you also saw the ladies that were maybe there to support the guy that loves Star. And you also saw the guys that were there to support their girl in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Tons of girl. Maybe 30s way too, maybe 40. It could have been 50-50. It did not feel overwhelming in either direction.
Okay.
Do you agree?
I would have said maybe 60-40. I'm curious to see the people that were
that's
there.
what I'm saying. 40-60. I thought it was well balanced.
So people that were there, tell me what you think. What do you think the percentage was, male to female ratio? Because I was expecting 80-20, and it definitely was not
even
80-20.
close. No,
it was more 60-40.
It did not feel lopsided. I'm talking like I've been to football games and sometimes you get there and it's a dude fest. It was not.
This was not. As far as like people in attendance that were a minority, percentage-wise, what would you say?
Another like 30. Like it was 20-30. It was great.
Yeah, it seemed like
very diverse.
Yeah, especially in the
sides.
Cosplay, especially in
cosplay actually might have been a 50-50.
The cosplay was a level playing field in my experience, and who I was able to see. It was everybody cosplayed. There was not like
we felt like outsiders.
Group. Yeah, not cosplaying.
Yeah.
By the way, we could have taken 1,000 pictures of people in cosplay, and it would not, and just talked about every single one of them tonight, and it would not have been a wasted evening.
Right.
The cosplay is another level at that thing. It was incredible.
You're right, Nick. You're right. Duh. That's what I was trying to say. Fest, not party. Fest. What else? Any other questions?
Kids. Did you see a lot of?
Not a ton of kids
under 20.
I saw a lot of under 20, not a lot of under 15s, and enough. It was cool to see the few that were there. I had a couple crying babies and a couple panels, but even then I was like, good. I was a crying baby at Empire.
Yeah,
for sure. So look, bring them up right. Put the right things in their ears. If you have Dave Filoni whispering to your crying baby, childhood has started.
I didn't see any Dave Filoni cosplays.
I saw a couple.
Did you?
Just cowboy hats.
Just cowboy. It looked like Indians. Oh,
No, we saw a dude cowboy hat. You saw him. You
Did I?
were like, that's Filoni. Cowboy hat, and he just made his beard like he frosted his beard.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I do remember that.
Yes, we saw the Grievous framing. He
the
was
8-foot Grievous was incredible. Like there were so many good ones. I saw the biggest Mace Windu I've ever seen, man. That guy was like 6'7".
It was Shaq Windu.
It was Shaq Windu.
You said that.
Shaq. What was the other one? It was there was Jorge Lucas.
Jorge Lucas was good.
Yeah. Man, who else did we see?
We saw a ton of, which is hilarious because I really like the SNL skit with when Kylo goes as undercover boss.
Matt.
We saw
Death Star
tons of
tech.
mats.
Yeah.
We saw tons of mats.
That was
we
great.
got to what's the running of
the running of the Wilrow hoods. We saw that. In fact, by the way, Josh, this was we've got like just between you and me here for a second. Right, but there's like over 110 likes on it on Instagram. I put it up on a reel. We never get 100 likes on reels.
Yeah,
that was pretty popular. Maybe it's the song that I put it to. Maybe. Take a look at it.
I did.
Okay,
I liked it.
Oh, well,
I was there, but I liked it on the reel.
You were there.
Yeah,
it was great.
I experienced it. We went up the escalator as they were coming down.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. Cool. We were high-fiving.
Yeah,
great.
Wilrow hoods.
Wilrow hoods. All right. Anything else to add other than we love you guys so much? This is reaffirmed my passion for this fandom. I think that the future is very bright for Star Wars. I will say this. We would be remiss. This may be a hot take.
We don't want to be remiss.
This may be a hot take. Well, it is for me because you weren't there. No offense. But I will say this. We have Dave Filoni and we have Jon Favreau to buffer this statement. But I am convinced that Kathleen Kennedy cares a lot about this franchise. And I don't think, let's be honest here. Who's the boss?
She writes the checks.
She writes the checks. I don't think Dave and John, while they have been influential as perhaps painting the path for Miss Kennedy, or at least showing her, look, from a profit standpoint, she was worried about the numbers, right? But she came out the entire first panel and was goofy and playful and happy and enjoying the hell out of herself in the name of Star Wars. And I don't care what your past interpretations of Kathleen Kennedy are. I do feel like as a triad here, we're in pretty good hands. I think Star Wars is doing pretty good. Look, we're going to have misses, but guess what? We have multiple opportunities to miss. Not one, not two, but a lot of ways to get it right and maybe get it wrong sometimes. And that's far more than we've had in the past. And so I do want to give some kudos. That could get me flamed. Well, I don't care. I'm not on Twitter. Watch out, Andy.
Well, I don't disagree with that at all, Josh. I mean, think about what we're going to get in our very near future. We're going to get season 3 of Mando, which is going to be great. We're going to get Andor, which is going to be great. We're going to get the rest of Obi-Wan, which is already great. We're going to get Bad Batch season 2, which is probably going to be pretty good because season 1 was
we're
good.
falling in love with Bad Batch. We're slowly.
We got Visions, which was different.
I loved
and was great. We are getting, what's the one with Jude Law that's coming out?
Skeleton Crew,
which I can't wait to see what that is. There's going to be zero expectations going into that. I'm going to like it.
I'm trying to, for you old people out there, older, middle age, we'll call it. I'm trying to compare it to maybe Explorers. Remember the old 80s movie Explorers?
Yeah.
Because they get lost in space a little bit. Well, that's Lost in Space, which is even older, but a little boom, out on an adventure, but not a kid show. Filoni even said, those guys were like, we want to make it a little bit like Clone Wars. And he's like, they cut people's heads off in Clone Wars. So not a kid show.
No.
As far as a mood or theme. So I'm in, like I said, I think we're in very good hands. The passion was not staged. And we're talking about trained actors, trained producers, directors that know how to put on a show to pump the hype. I saw cast members and crew. And by the way, the crew was all there. We had crew.
Mm-hmm.
The crew from Kenobi was in the arena. The crew.
Oh, you got to meet a few of them.
We got to meet. I had the picture. I don't know how it didn't make my pals list because I think I screwed it up. But anyway, I got to meet a couple. I got to meet Leia's stunt double, who's an adorable gal named Molly. I got to meet her just randomly. They were trying to take pictures on the red carpet, like selfie style, and it looked terrible. I'm like, I'll take the picture. And I took the picture for him. And they're like, thank you. I was like, no problem. I didn't know who they were. I thought they were just fans. And they were walking along, and I'm like, man, this is going to be great because we're going to see Kenobi. And they're like, we worked on Kenobi. I'm like, what? Like, what'd you do? And she's like, well, I'm the special or the props manager,
prop master
over there. That's lead creature design. And that's Molly right there. She's a stunt double, but she didn't tell me for who, because Leia wasn't a thing yet.
Wasn't a thing
but
yet.
She was a little gal, an adult, a little gal though. And I was like, who are you stunting for? And it was Leia. And by the way, remember Leia's double when she's getting dressed when we first introduce her, and mom comes in and she pulls her hood back and she's like, Leia said you'd think it was funny. That was her. That's Molly. The stunt double was Leia's double in Kenobi. So she actually gets a role with a line. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But they felt the love for sure. That's what JD said. The actors were crying. I mean, Pedro was beside himself. Tamora, like we said, was just freaking ripping it. Hilarious. What's his name? I keep getting them mixed up. But anyway, Diego, just jumping on the stage, like he was like hyped because, and it was funny. I'm not sure if they were acting or not, but the lead producer there was like, we're gonna do 12 episodes 5 years before, and then 12 leading right in. And it seemed like Diego didn't know they'd been greenlighted for 12 more episodes. Because he's like, my favorite part about this is I know they can't kill me. I was like, nice.
Oh, and I just remembered, spent a little time one evening hanging out with two of the panel hosts, a gal named Amanda. She was on the Galaxy stage upstairs. She's really fun personality. And then also friend of the Beyond the Blast Doors, Ash Crossan. She's pretty cool too. So
very cool.
Just remembered that when we're talking panels that we got to meet them, got to shake their hands, talk with them. Cool people. There wasn't a dick in the crowd at the Star Wars Celebration. There was not one asshole there.
Thank you for clarifying.
I mean, I can't, everybody there was excellent, and it was so fun. I'm so glad. I don't need to go to another one.
Oh, I have to go to another one.
But I would love to go to
We're going to the next one.
England? We're going to England?
We're going.
We're doing that?
Yeah.
Are we saying that right now?
Look, it's Big Ben.
All right. I guess we should probably get tickets. All right.
We're going.
Okay.
We're going to be a little more purposeful, and so we can keep training for our next US, but we're going. We're going.
Okay. All right.
Start doing some push-ups.
I have to swim the channel.
Yeah. All right. Let's let these beautiful people go to bed. Thank you so much for watching us, staying up late, waking up early, whatever it is, and participating. You're the best. Andy, I don't know what else to say except,
I forgot my big purchase.
Next time.
All right, we'll save it.
Next time. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
I just remembered.
No.
You
don't give it all. Look,
I thought I put a picture of it.
You got to leave a cliffhanger. You did not.
The number one thing that I purchased this weekend
on our next episode.
Of the Chronicles. Go play with your toys.